And moving on now, the UK just released the long-awaited Brexit White Paper amid much argument during the Commons sitting over availability of the document. Now, the paper suggests the government is hoping to retain close ties with the bloc, participating in its agencies for chemicals, aviation and medicines. Even before publication, it did not get a ringing endorsement from US President Donald Trump, who said in Brussels he was not sure May's soft approach was what Britain voted for. Well, there was one major shift for Britain's huge financial services sector. The government is ditching plans for close trading ties favoured by the City of London. It is in favour of a deal that offers flexibility but more limited market access. Meanwhile, British Prime Minister Theresa May published her blueprint for relations with the European Union, and that's after Brexit on a Thursday. Now, the plan for a free trade area for goods has angered many in her party. Let's get the latest on this from Catherine Drew. She joins us in London. Very welcome to the show, Catherine. Now, May has finally unveiled her detailed plan for the future relationship with the European Union, albeit to mixed reactions and silence from the EU right now. What are some of the key highlights of the plan?
Yes, as you mentioned, it is very controversial. We've already seen the departure of two government ministers over this plan because they objected to it, including Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson. It is also very complex. It will see the UK leaving the European single market and the customs union, but it wants to create a facilitated customs arrangement. Now, that will do away with any customs checks at the border, and it will also, they also want to create a common playbook, a common rule book, I beg your pardon, on goods but not services. So obviously that will smooth over some of the trade with the EU. The UK wants to go out and be able to, of course, make its own trade deal. Now, on sovereignty, the UK will no longer be subject to the European Court of Justice, except in some circumstances. On monetary contributions to the European Union, those will end, except in some circumstances. Very, very complex. And on immigration, the free movement of people, that will end, except in some circumstances. Theresa May trying to sell this, saying it's a very pragmatic approach, but as you already said, there is a lot of opposition to it.
Now, Catherine, at home in the UK, some skeptics are saying that May's plan, it doesn't deliver on the vision of a clean split from the European Union. It also will see banks lose some access to the EU. Does she have enough people or support on her side right now?
Yes, you're right. Banks will lose that access, and the City of London authorities have reacted very scathingly to this. They're very upset that there will be a common playbook on goods but not services. Services, of course, are hugely important for the UK economy. Lloyd's of London is warning that this will speed up the departure of many firms from the City of London. So she's facing a backlash there. Also facing a backlash from within her own party. Around about 60 hardcore Conservative MPs, hardcore Brexiteers, say this is a Brexit in name only. This is really not what people had voted for. However, the opposition Labour Party and many of her Conservative Party had wanted this softer Brexit approach. So she may well have the numbers to get it through the House of Commons, but those Brexit rebels are threatening to make her life very, very difficult over the next few weeks.
And of course, the EU still remains silent on the plan. But let's move on now, of course, to the fact that Trump landed in the UK today. Of course, he did criticize her plan as well. Give us an update on his first day in the country.
Yes, that's right. He described the UK as being in a hot spot just before he landed. He also questioned Theresa May's Brexit plan, saying he wasn't sure that this is what people had voted for. That will, of course, cheer the Brexiteers, but means something of a headache for Theresa May. She will spend time with him at Chequers tomorrow for bilateral meetings. Right now, the two leaders are together. The president is being wined and dined at Blenheim Palace, which is a beautiful palace, the birthplace of Winston Winston Churchill, and there American and UK business leaders have gathered for a very opulent dinner. President Trump will return to London overnight, and a small group of protesters are out in central London already making a lot of noise. They say that they want their protest to be heard and have sworn to be there all night. We are expecting larger protests in central London tomorrow. President Trump, for the most part, will not spend much time in London, so he'll be kept well away from those protests. He will be holding a joint press conference with Theresa May tomorrow, so obviously that will be essential viewing for many people interested in the Brexit process. Of course he's going to be asked, so let's see what he says tomorrow.
Well, many thanks for that update, Catherine. Of course, Catherine Drew joining us there in London.